Hi there, I'm Brent Calmer. Welcome to my channel where the goal is to help you appreciate even more the scents you love by understanding a little bit more about what goes into them. And in this episode, we'll be covering one of the more bewildering topics in perfumery, at least for consumers, and that is why there are so many names for perfume. Eau de Parfum, Eau De Toilette, Eau de Cologne, Parfum. All of these things can be very confusing to people. So we will get you feeling more confident when you go to the perfume counter, and we'll do it very quickly. Let's get into it. Okay, so at its most basic level, these different names tell you how concentrated the final fragrance is. You have the aromatic compounds, and then you have the solvent in a perfume. The aromatic compounds, of course, are the part that give you the scent. And the solvent both carries and dilutes the scent. In perfumery, this is ethanol, or what's often called perfumer's alcohol. Now, at the top level of concentration, you have what's called Eau de Parfum. And that is about 15 to 40% aromatic compound to solvent. Below that, you have Eau de Parfum, which is 8 to 15%. Below that, you have Eau de Toilette, about 4 to 8%. And then you have Eau de Cologne, which, Eau de Cologne is a particular kind of fragrance, kind of citrus, cheaper fragrance. That tends to be 2 to 4%, 2 to 5%. And then you have this kind of mass of mists and aftershaves and splashes, things like that that are even lower on the scale. So it's Eau de Parfum, Eau de Parfum, Eau de Toilette, Eau de Cologne, and then, down to the lower levels. Now in the next section, we will be taking an example from the real world of perfumery. But first, if you've enjoyed this video so far, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified next time I post a video. All right, let's take a real world example. This is from one of the most popular woody aromatics out there, Bleu de Chanel, which exists in 3 forms. It's an Eau de Toilette, an Eau de Parfum, and a Parfum. And what you'll find is that each concentration brings out different dimensions of what is the main concept of the fragrance. So in the Eau de Toilette, you'll get a prominent citrus. In the Eau de Parfum, you will get an incense or even a lavender note, as some people have reported. And in the Parfum, it's the cedar sandalwood, which serves as the base note, that really gets pride of place. So you see that there are kind of different facets that are pulled out from basically the same formula. And I say basically because we can't really be sure this is the same formula being used in different concentrations. In fact, sometimes perfumers have to change a formula to comply with IFRA guidelines. Say, for example, if they were using an ingredient in the Eau de Toilette and really wanted to kick it up, it might then exceed some level that IFRA has said is a no-go. So they might have to change it. But they also might have subtle differences in the formulas between the concentrations just because they want to do something slightly different. Of course, the biggest variable in all of this is your own skin, and particularly the acidity of your skin, which will have a lot to say about how the fragrance works on you, particularly the longevity and the sillage, which is the kind of scent trail that it leaves behind. And so it's really worth experimenting with these different concentrations. If you go to Fragrantica, for example, you'll sometimes see people who say, I had to go with the Eau de Toilette I had to go with the Eau de Parfum because the Eau de Toilette actually felt too strong for me. So it really depends on you. But at least now you have a guideline. So you know that Eau de Parfum is the top level, Eau de Parfum, Eau de Toilette, Eau de Cologne, and then splash and mist and all that. Now finally, the great French composer Claude Debussy said, music is the space between the notes, and you can kind of think of perfumery the same way. That there is a prominent role for negative space or kind of air in perfumery to give a scent structure and dimension. And so I invite you to explore that the next time you're at the perfume counter and you're trying different scents. And of course, it should always be fun. That's why we're doing this. But in any case, I'm grateful that you joined me today. I hope this has been helpful to you. Please leave a like or a comment, even better, subscribe, and I'll get back to you with more great content in the weeks to come. Take care.